The strongest predictor of whether a person will end up in prison is that they were raised by a single parent. C.C. Harper and S.S. McClanahan, 1998.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution, too many problems, not enough solutions.
All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is another episode of All Things Education Official. I am your host and educator, Dr. Abdullah, giving you educational news from a foundational Black American man's perspective. If you'd like to see and like what you're hearing, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Put me in the algorithm. If you like, please follow me on my social media handles at Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. And if you like the channel, you like the content I'm putting out, you want to support the channel, please follow the link on the screen or go to the About section and buy me a cup of coffee. It would be greatly appreciated. Today, we will be speaking on the actual data that has been put together about single-parent homes versus two-parent homes. I wanted to do this video because I have actually been seeing videos where people's subjective reality has been presented as a fact for the rest of the world.
And hear me out. Do children really need their fathers?
Some of y'all are so damaged beyond repair, ain't shit anybody can do to save y'all. But here we are. Few discretions advised.
Or do they need a stable home with two sources of income?
Yeah, at this point, I think, I really wish there was a way to unplug the internet, for the whole United States at least. Just unplug this shit. We need a restart. We need a reboot of some sort because this shit is getting out of hand. And Shorty got on here with her whole chest and said that, and she didn't even blink.
A lot of times these fathers do more harm than good, because a lot of these fucked up people that's running around here in the world, they come from two-parent households.
At first I had a whole lot to say, but then I continued to watch the video and then it all eventually made sense. This is a classic case of biased projection, where someone feels like whatever they experience is what happens majority of the time, and they refuse to acknowledge anything that doesn't support their ideas of what they firmly believe in or what they experienced.
I know that this is a sensitive topic and it's a sensitive subject to many, and I have a habit of stepping on toes just to get a point across and present the truth in the most efficient way possible. But let's be honest, most people nowadays cannot accept the truth if it does not coincide with their own belief systems. As I always do, I will give my commentary and, of course, back it up with data, facts, and statistics. This video is actually being dedicated to my young lady students, my young male students, but my young female students who have been told that they don't need a father or a man to have or raise a baby. It's also being dedicated to my young male students that believe that the only thing they can offer a child is monthly or weekly checks and from child support, a nice pair of sneakers, and an occasional weekend visit. Be aware that my commentary is based upon the assumption that your mate picker wasn't off or bad, and that you have chosen a man or woman of good character to have a hopefully great relationship and you were married. But that is the best case scenario, but it's not always the case. But we need to also consider the possibility that you chose a responsible, forward-thinking, selfless individual and had the child, but you're still not married. But you did make those other allowances when you chose the person to have a child with. This conversation is not about that bum dude or that hood rat girl that you found attractive, she had a fatty, or he was mad cool, and you laid down and had a child because you were reckless and careless, because that's exactly what it is. We are assuming the best case scenario in order to desire the best possible outcomes. The problem is that most of the time, the best case scenario is not what we are dealing with, and the individuals that bombard our young men and women online are the hurt, traumatized, and the unaccountable. In order for our community to thrive, we must repair the family structure, which in turn will help to increase education. An increase in education rates will increase productivity and income. Income will drive social and community growth. Social and community growth will create strong communities. Strong communities will create strong leaders, and strong leaders and followers will change the landscape of our country. If we shy away from this reality along with white supremacy and systemic anti-Black oppression, we will never get out of the current state in which our Black community finds itself. Listen to these stats and tell me what you think.
In 1996, 70% of inmates in state juvenile detention centers serving long sentences were raised by single mothers. Wade Horn, June 1997. 72% of juvenile murderers and 60% of rapists came from single mother homes. Chuck Colson, 2004. After controlling for single motherhood, the difference between Black and white crime rates disappeared. Progressive Policy Institute, 1990. Growing up without a father could permanently alter the structure of the brain, leading to more aggressive and angry behavior. Children brought up only by a single mother have a higher risk of developing deviant behavior, including drug abuse. Dr. Gabriella Gobi and Francis Bamlico, Cerebral Cortex. 70% of teen births occur to girls in single-mother homes. David T. Lukin, 2000. 86% of American teen births are out of wedlock. Dr. David Popenoe, 2007. 70% of dropouts, 70% of teen suicides, 70% of runaways, 70% of juvenile delinquents, and 70% of child murderers come from single-mother homes. Various sources including Wade Horn and Richard E. Redding. 63% of all youth suicides, 70% of all teen pregnancies, 71% of all adolescent chemical/substance abusers, 80% of all prison inmates, and 90% of all homeless and runaway children come from single-mother homes. Bob Ray Sanders, 2007.
These statistics are extremely disturbing and concerning, but we know the truth. It's just a number of us that refuse to accept it. This is not about bashing single mothers. As a matter of fact, I feel that the current young women that are single mothers could, in fact, turn the tide of the entire situation, and that if they are willing to be accountable for their role in the situations and tell their children the truth. The way they did it was wrong. Now, I specifically put that on the mothers because the mothers are always and will always be the first teachers of the child. I like to sometimes be a little bit personable, and I will tell you this. As a man who had children out of wedlock, I can tell you that the struggles of being a young, non-custodial, and oftentimes very selfish young father, it took a mental and financial toll on my elder children. Fortunately for them, they had two families that were extremely supportive and offered relief during those many times I was not the best version of myself. But most young men and women are not born into that situation. Though it was chaotic, they weren't born into a situation that I just described. In preparing for the video, I did come across another perspective that needs to be considered. It also gives context to raising a child in a one-parent home or two-parent home. A summary of educator observations as recorded by Annie E. Casey Foundation article entitled Child Well-Being in Single-Parent Families. Some staff expressed concern that children in single-parent households, regardless of parent gender, may face more challenges simply because of their less than adult resource time capacity, which can affect homework and support, extracurricular access, or attending parent-teacher meetings. This is echoed in practitioner commentary referencing lower resources in many single-parent homes. There's always an awareness of bias. The novelty of an involved single father can lead to stronger, positive perceptions, which might not always align with deeper structural factors, i.e., seeing father showing up is especially seen as a hero when we might expect equal expectations for all parents. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, single fathers headed their households participated in school meetings at levels similar to single mothers and higher than fathers in two-parent households. According to the National Library of Medicine, many of the observed differences in outcomes by family structure are strongly tied not to parental gender per se, but to economic resources, stability, parental education, and available social capital. What does all this mean for the foundational Black American community? Well, simply stated, Black men and women need each other for our community to reach its highest heights. Black women cannot do it alone, and Black men cannot do it alone. It is time that we abandon the tricks of systemically targeted agendas that have plagued communities for the last, 60 years, and begin to put our community first, second, and third. We are a great people, and we are the only ones who will ultimately save us. This has been another episode of All Things Education Official. I'm your host and educator, Dr. Abdullah. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think that the data supports that single fathers, be it if they're functioning, healthy single fathers, and single mothers that seem that they're healthy and single, can work conjointly, or they can work separately and produce wonderful children? Or should we definitely go back to the two-parent household, give up this or abandon this 60-year experiment? You are dismissed.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution, too many problems, not enough solutions. So many billionaires that make no contributions. We gotta create, fund, and maintain our institutions. Too much propaganda, spiritual